Hello, Sagittarius, and welcome to this, your mid to late June reading and predictions. This is intended for anybody born under the sign of Sagittarius, as well as anybody else who has any kind of amount of Sagittarius anywhere in your charts. This will resonate with some of you, but not all of you at this time. If you are curious about timing for psychic videos and tarot videos, you can check out my April 1st through April 15th video for you. I go into a lot of detail there. If you are returning, thank you so much for coming back and continuing to support my channel. And if you are new here, a very warm welcome. I am coming to you from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada, as my son and I are now fully nomadic and moving around. I am struggling a little bit with adapting to the nomadic lifestyle as well as working full time. So you will notice that my background changes all the time. I'm still working towards finding really good Wi-Fi while I'm on the road and finding places, but I do have friends in Red Deer who have been generous enough to provide me with this lovely workspace for the purposes of recording your video today. So, Sagittarius, let's tap in and get ready. For those of you who are new here, the way that I work with a number of different tarot card decks as well as oracle card decks. I pull all of the cards first. I leave them sitting face down until I'm actually ready to read your cards. Let's go. All right. Sagittarius. Sagittarius, where are you at now? What's going on in your lives right now? Oh, that was interesting. Okay. Okay, that one is coming out. There's 3 more cards here. I'm just going to pull those cards out. I'm not sure whether we're actually going to be reading those cards or not, because there was a significant number that came out. I don't think they were meant for you. They just inadvertently turned themselves. So now let's pull cards about what you're focusing on. Where are we going? I was initially pulled here. Focus. Focus. Yeah. Here. What are the Sagittarius focusing on mid to late June? Oops. And that one's on the floor. Anything else? Ooh, 2 more. All right. We actually have 4 cards here that have come out for you. Let me grab the card off the floor because that's always fun. Oh, actually 5 cards. Wow. Okay, Sagittarius, how much stuff are you actually focusing on? We're going to have a look in just a moment as to whether all of these cards that have come out, like I said, there's 5 cards here. We're going to have a look at whether these cards have some similar meanings and are going to tie things together, or whether your energies are a little bit scattered at this time. All right, cards of difficult influences. Okay. I am getting pulled over to my brand new deck. I've only had this deck about a week, and it's still pretty much a virgin as far as doing zodiac readings. So let's see what comes out for you. For difficult influences for Sagittarius. Difficult influences for Sagittarius mid to late June. Let's go again. There. Oh, and there we go. Okay. And let's have a look at messages that Sagittarius needs to hear at this time. What does Sagittarius need to hear this time? What makes sense for Sagittarius at this time? Is there any other message for Sagittarius? Any other message? Yep, there we go. Okay. So we've got 2 messages here for you. Set them off to the side. And the next card is going to be a card of unexpected. Right. What is unexpected for Sagittarius? Okay, we've got 2 cards that have flown out, 3 cards. We've got a few things coming up that are going to be unexpected for you this time, Sagittarius. And everything else went back into the deck. So that was the first card out, second card, and third card. All right, and let's look at your general overall outcome. Okay. Whoa. Okay. Sagittarius, I'm pretty sure that you don't have this many cards in your general overall outcome. There are about 20 cards that have come flying out. So when that happens, what we do is we take the smaller portion of the deck and we mix it up and see what cards really want to come out and speak to you. Because for a general overall outcome, having 20 cards is a little bit unreasonable. All right. Right. So there was one card that came out a couple of times, that card. Okay. We can go back. If we need some clarification, we'll go back to this deck, but let's have a look at what's going on with you right now. You've got the 8 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles, the World, and the 5 of Wands. All right. With the 8 of Swords, this is a card of feeling like you are trapped or repressed in some way without actually realizing that it may be something of your own doing. It may be a case of not really taking responsibility for your actions about something. Where there's like just a whole bunch of negativity and negative thoughts coming in. I'm hoping that this will come into focus here. Yeah, having a little difficulty getting used to a new light that I'm using to try and get cards to focus. All right, so on the 8 of Swords, you will notice that there is a character here who is tied up, blindfolded, and surrounded by swords. Not a particularly positive picture. Okay, but the message behind the 8 of Swords is that there's something going on in your life making you feel like you are somehow trapped or restricted or unable to move forward, and that's creating some anxiety for you. And yet there's also the aspect to the 8 of Swords of recognizing and acknowledging that the majority of time when we are put in a difficult situation where we feel like we've got our backs against the wall, it's of our own creation. So some people will, I'll get backlash for this. I know I will. But for example, somebody says, oh my God, I hate my job, but I can't quit my job because I need the money. I feel like I'm trapped. And then they live in that trapped feeling for months, years even. And they're like, and they just keep repeating over and over, but I'm trapped. I'm trapped. I'm trapped. Okay. The reality is that they are not trapped. They can make appropriate changes in their life, especially right now here in 2023. There are, with the example that I just gave, if it is a question of I hate my job, but I need the paycheck, there are ways to find a new job while still maintaining your paycheck and moving into laterally or moving up the ladder to something that is more fulfilling of your soul. But there are certain sacrifices that we need to make in order to be able to do that. And some people are not willing to make those sacrifices or accept that. And they stay in this place of the Eight of Swords for far too long. When we are in the place of the Eight of Swords, we have a tendency to not see things from the right perspective. Now, you have the Three of Pentacles right next to the Eight of Swords. The Three of Pentacles is a card of re-educating yourself, taking some courses, doing self-improvement for yourself. So in the example that I just gave you, where somebody remains quote unquote trapped in a job for many, many years, they have choices. Go out and do a night school course. Okay, so fine. You can't hang out with your buddies and drink beer on 3 nights a week, and instead you go do a course, but then you're qualified and you have an opportunity to make some really positive changes in your life. See what I'm saying, Sagittarius? And I know that this is not going to resonate with all of you. The example that I gave is not going to resonate with all of you, but it's more about these two cards being read together is about us the Eight of Swords is about us taking responsibility for where we are at in our lives, rather than sitting in that place of, woe is me, I'm trapped. Okay. And one of the ways that we have an opportunity to do that is to go out and educate ourselves. And I mean, this goes even for somebody who's in, let's say, a relationship that they feel like they're trapped in. Well, there are alternatives out there. And the next card in your reading is actually the World. Look at that. Look at the sparkle on there. The World card is a card of immense positivity, but it's also a card of closing off one aspect of our lives, closing off a chapter in our lives, because we've learned the lessons that we need to learn. And in particular, with regards to the way that these cards have come out, the lesson, Sagittarius, is to take responsibility and recognize that, I guess you could call it universal law, that we are where we are meant to be at that given time. And if we want to make changes, we need to make the changes. We can't just sit there. The law of attraction, for example, does not work if you just sit at home in your chair going, I wish for a new car. I wish for a new car. That doesn't work. Okay. You have to be proactive about what you are working towards manifesting in your life. Okay. That's what the World represents for us. It represents in the tarot. This is the number 21 card of the major arcana. And this is about having grown, having started at the Fool, of being unknowledgeable, uneducated, being unaware of how the world works, and moving up towards the World, and then kind of graduating into something new. Really, really positive for you, Sagittarius, especially at this time. It's kind of unique that this is coming out at this time, as this planet, this 3D Earth, is moving and progressing towards us being able to see things from a different perspective and see how things truly work. Now, you also have the Five of Wands that came up as the very last card in sort of where you're at now and what's happening in your life. And it signifies that there may be this mad scramble for money and material things at the sacrifice of being a human being. Okay, so watch for that lesson. Watch to be able to find that balance, because if you look at the way these cards came out, you've got this 8 here where you're feeling trapped And the lesson is learn to take responsibility for where you're at, perhaps go out and take some courses, re-educate yourself, and then the world is really going to open up to you with new opportunities. But if you are constantly in pursuit of material things, you could find yourself back at this Eight of Swords. Let's have a look. Okay. So things that you are focusing on right now, Sagittarius, you have the Heart Guardian. Love and let yourself be loved. Now, these cards are not reflective like the other ones, so I can get a good focus on them for you. Love and let yourself be loved. This card is really, really important when the Eight of Swords comes out, because the Eight of Swords shows us as being, tied up and very isolated. So at this time, Sagittarius, you're being asked to let someone in and allow yourself to be loved, but love yourself. You have the Stag coming in. This is a message of trust and thrive. Okay. The Stag is important. I work with animals as well. And one of the lessons of the Stag is that these antlers are the Stag's way of letting us know that we need to tap into those higher unseen forces. These are like an antennae that go out and help us to tap into the unseen realm and trust that the unseen realm is out there in order to help us. And, they want us to succeed. We have the Peacekeeper. Let go of the need to be right. This is an important message that ties into, again, this Eight of Swords, that for some of us, we make decisions when we're youth. When we're literally still youth, we are asked to make a decision about what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want to do for the rest of your life? Okay. And you may make that decision when you're 16, 17, 18 years old, and you go on and you spend a lot of money and you go to post-secondary education and you become a doctor or a lawyer or a professional or whatever. And then you get into maybe your 30s and you go, I'm not in the right place. And yet society is deeming me to be this ever powerful, successful person because I followed this particular path. And you're going, but it doesn't feel right. Okay. So one of the things with this card is about coming to that peace within ourselves, that we are following our own heart guardian right here, into what's right for us. Okay. So the let go of the need to be right, oftentimes what is telling us is right is what society told us is right, not what's actually right for us. And by following what society told us was right, can lead us down that path of that example I just gave you, where you're not walking the right path, right? You're a doctor when in reality you want to be an artist, or you're an artist because your mom was an artist, but you really wanted to go to school to be a lawyer, right? So if you fall into that category where, and this goes for relationships as well. If you are in a relationship and you're waking up to, why am I in this relationship? Am I in this relationship because, something from an institution told me I need to stay in something, but it's no longer working for me, right? That Eight of Swords energy, really powerful. And so this let go of the need to be right is a card of really examining what is right for me. Is what's right for me coming from within me or from outside of me? You have the Shaman, trust in higher forces. This card has a very similar message to the Stag, right? There's your double reinforcement. I love it when cards come out and they have similar or almost identical meanings. Trust and thrive, trust in higher forces. Remember what I said about this one with the antennae going up, right? Trusting in the unseen world. And you have the Oracle, one of my favorite cards from this deck. And the Oracle is all about letting us know that there's new and important information coming in for us. And sometimes we might need to sit on some of our decisions for a brief period of time, but there's new information coming up and coming in for you right now, Sagittarius. Oh, all right. What do you have in your difficult influences? You have the shamanic healer, you have your eternal spirit, and you have angels of the 7 chakras. You have cleansing and attunement with the shamanic healer in your difficult influences. Does this look like another character with a similar meaning to this one? You have a duality going on right now, Sagittarius. You're focusing on creating your inner shaman and trusting in the higher forces and really coming into your own truth. And then in your difficult influences, you have a second shaman coming in who is counteracting this one, right? You've got this duality going on. You're focusing on one, but you're not actually believing in it. So if you want to have this card disappear, this shamanic healing disappear from your difficult influences, you're going to have to trust in the higher forces. Trust in the shamans that are coming in. Higher self and sacred initiation. This is also about trusting in higher forces. It's in your difficult influences, which means that perhaps at this time, Sagittarius, you're not trusting in the universe. And you have the angels of the 7 chakras, power, truth, and connection. This is indicating that your connection to the divine is cracked. I'm not going to say broken, because we are never disconnected from the divine, but every once in a while, here comes the download. How many people on this planet are currently walking around with cell phones with cracked screens? It doesn't mean that their screen doesn't work anymore. It doesn't mean that their phone has stopped working, but they're walking around with a cracked screen. So it's not as crystal clear as it once was. And that's essentially what this is saying, is that your connection to the divine at this time, Sagittarius, is a little bit cracked, like a cracked screen on your phone. It still works. You can still connect with the divine, but the message that's coming in perhaps isn't as clear as it once was. Okay. How do we correct this? We trust in the divine. Messages that you need to hear at this time. Be yourself. I believe that I already touched on that with this peacekeeper. Let go of the need to be right. Let go of the need to follow societal norms. I mean, obviously, there's certain societal norms that serve our highest good. You know, don't be out there being a jerk to other people or to yourself for that matter. Remember, love thyself. But with this card, I had said, you know, if you're finding yourself trapped with this 8 of Swords, you need to trust in divine forces, and you need to let go of the need to be right according to society, because it's society that deems what's right and what's wrong. We need to go into our heart to find out what's right for us. Be yourself. This is a message you need to hear today. And you need to carry this message through the last half of June, which is the intended time period for this video. Calm is not a weakness. Another really important message here for you, Sagittarius. I love this. Okay. When we're in that place where we need to tap into our higher forces, the higher forces, and tap into our angels and guides and so on, we need to be calm. We need to do the meditations. That's where that information comes in because it's quite subtle. But in our busy lives where we have to go here and we have to go there and we have to do shopping and we have to keep up with the Joneses and we have to have all this material things and all of this that's going on, it's because we've been told being calm is a weakness when it's really not. Unexpected for you. You had a 5 come up a minute ago. You had the 5 of Wands come in here. And now you've got the 5 of Pentacles coming in here. You have the moon in your unexpected. You have the 5 of Autumn, 5 of Pentacles, and you have the 2 of Summer. The moon is about allowing our intuition to come in, particularly at night in our dreams. The moon may also indicate that there are shadows coming out. When we decide to finally take responsibility for where we are in our lives with this 8 of Swords and the lesson of the 8 of Swords, when we let go of the need to be right, according to society, intuition has this ability to flow. But the other thing that tends to flow when we awaken our intuition is our shadows. There's a lot of shadow work that comes up where we shine light on parts of ourselves that we may not like. Can we get rid of our shadows? No, we cannot, but we can make friends with them. And that is really important work. So, Sagittarius, unexpected for you, the last half of June here is shadow work. You have the 5 of Autumn. The 5 of Autumn is a card of being cautious with your money, making sure that you're paying attention to all of the different sides of the story, being challenged maybe by some money issues. And if you are going to make a career choice now, from June 15th through to June 30th, as is suggested here, that you might be looking to make a career change. This card is saying, lay the groundwork, right? Make sure you have that good base, and then you can move into making that change in the near future. It's not recommending that you make the change right here, right now. Yep, snap decision. This is saying lay out the groundwork and then make the decision at some point in the future. And you have the 2 of Summer. The 2 of Summer is about being able to heal relationships. It is about 2 people coming together. If it's not a romantic relationship for you, Sagittarius, it may be about mending a relationship with a mentor or a coworker so that you are able to move forward. All right, your general overall outcome, you have the Silence card and you have Traveling card, which is the 8 of Wands. Yeah. Now, okay. So the Silence card, did we have a card where we've already talked about going into that place of silence, meditation, going within? Yeah, actually we did. Calm is not a weakness. Silence, meditation, tapping into your intuition so that you can trust in the higher forces. That's what this card is about. So by the end of June, if you really want to dig down, find some really deep truths, the moon, intuitive epiphanies coming up, and the silence card. And you have the 8 of Wands coming in. This is the card that says traveling on it. Let me just tap in. Okay. So for some of you, this is going to involve actually physically traveling, potentially even a relocation, but it's a very small percentage of you. The number that came up was 10 or 11% of you. So a very small percentage of you with this card are looking at actual physical travel or relocation. More so with this card coming out side by side like this with the silence card. This card is about traveling in your mind. It's about ethereal travel. It's about astral travel. It's about remote viewing, and it's about getting in touch with your intuition in order to get those really clear answers so that you can get out of this 8 of Swords. All right, Sagittarius, thank you so much for being here again this month. If this reading resonated with you, please consider giving me a like down below. And also, if you are interested in a personalized reading with me, I am available. All of my readings are done one-on-one over Zoom. They are not pre-recorded. So check out the links down below. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you at the beginning of July for your next reading.